Hello everyone, Justin Rondo here, and in this video, I'm going to go over just, a little shortcut I'm able to take to get some of these cool qualitative tools onto my site using Google Tag Manager. This is a way that I can really just kind of get around having my developer having to add new code each time I want to test out a new tech or try a new qualitative source that will require any sort of IT involvement, including putting JavaScript on the page, which most of these SaaS technologies are based on at this point in time. Okay, so this is Google Tag Manager. There's a whole lot more you can do with it other than just putting text on your site. You can run Google Analytics through it. You can set your conversion pixels. You can do a lot of stuff. This is very, very powerful, and I feel it's very, very underrated. But if you just use this as a way to, cut out billable hours from that person you outsource to, or to, really just skip ahead in line, will really just avoid the entire line in your IT queue, then you're getting some value out of this, even using only a fraction of what the power that exists within Google Tag Manager. So this is where you'd start when you go to tagmanager.google.com, and whatever account information you have will load up here. So I'll actually load up Digital Marketers. And so this is the dashboard, all right? And so it's going to give you information about your containers, what version you're on, what you're editing, when the last time you published was, who published it, how many tags, triggers, or variables you have, which I'll define those shortly, and kind of giving more container notes that you're involved with anytime you update something new. You can add in more detailed notes. Okay, so this is Google Tag Manager, and there's really three main concepts to Tag Manager. There's the tags, like what do you want to happen? What do you want to do? The triggers are when you want to do it. And variables really kind of come into play when you need some more special instructions. If there's not a clear way for something to occur, you'd have to actually use variables, which used to be called macros, which I think anybody who was familiar with Excel and using Excel macros, that's kind of the same principle there with what variables are for. For this example, we're not going to get into variables. Variables can get a little tricky, but that's really actually where you can get most of the power from Tag Manager. We're going to keep this very, very simple and just dig into a simple trigger and a simple tag that you can set up to get some qualitative text put on your site. All right, and in this example, I will go through Hotjar. But before I go through that, I want to show you the one time you're going to have to deal with your developer, and that is getting Google Tag Manager put on your site. So when you log in, your dashboard won't look exactly like this. You won't have 61 previous versions that you've worked with, but you're going to want to go to the top here and click Admin. And then all you're going to want to do is go to Install Google Tag Manager, okay, and copy this here beast and send it over to your IT person, your developer, and tell them to put it immediately after the opening body tag. That's all you have to do. Okay, really simple, and it's the last time you're going to have to bug them about issues like this anymore. Okay, so let's actually go back to accounts. I'll log back in. Okay, and one more thing, this is not supposed to be a Google Tag Manager training whatsoever. The people that you should go to be trained by Google in Google Tag Manager is actually Google. They have a nice little course you can go through. I believe it's free, so you can figure out how to, the more intricate parts of Tag Manager, such as, that variable part that we're not going to be jumping into today. Really, all this is a practical application of Google Tag Manager, all right? So I need to say, what I want to do here. So what I want to do is be able to have, Hotjar on my site. All right. So we're going to need the Hotjar code. So I need to sign in. All right. And similarly to any tech that's out on there, like you need to get the script that they use that you can actually, make it function on your site. So I'll click here for my tracking code. There's my code right here. All right. I'll copy that. Go back to Tag Manager. And now I have the code I need for my tag, okay? So let's go into tags. Now, they start these at default at they alphabetize this, so you do want to come up with a naming convention if you're going to get really big into Google Tag Manager. So that's just one piece of caution. Don't start naming willy-nilly. You'll never be able to find your stuff if you do that. So let's build a new tag. So this is the option I want to take right here. Okay, and while you're creating a tag, there's all sorts of pre-built different text that connect to tags immediately. Unfortunately, Hotjar is not one of them at this time, but I'll show you more actually. Google Analytics is one that's in there, AdWords, LinkedIn ads, Crazy Egg's in there. If you're working with Crazy Egg, they just have a connection right there, and actually that's just a nice little click. You put your account number in, and you are done, okay? Another example of things they have in there, ClickTail. If you're using ClickTail, they're super powerful. Affiliate window, mouse flow. They have all sorts of things in here. But if you're not listed there, don't worry. Don't worry at all, because there's this custom HTML tag that you can throw in there, okay? And that's what you're going to be using for your Facebook conversion pixels, and in this case for Hotjar's conversion pixel. All right. So all you do is you go in. We have to configure our tag. I just paste in the Hotjar tracking code. Okay. So that's nice and simple. You can go into advanced settings. You can have things like tag firing, schedule, and those things. For this, you're not going to need it. I really don't recommend playing with these or tweaking with these settings unless you really know what you're doing. But for this case, this is all you need to do. All right, so we can hit continue. And now we get the fire on, which is actually, this is where you choose one or more triggers, okay? And I want to show you, there are some triggers you can choose from all pages, some pages, being you pick the pages that this shows up on actual clicks, on forms, and they also have more, and more is all the other triggers that you've created. Okay, so when you start building out your triggers, you'll be able to pull these in at this stage, okay? But in this case, we want this on every page. We want to be able to track, get, heat maps for every page. We want to do session recordings for every page. We don't want to be held back, so we're going to set this for all pages. So a nice little click right there. And guess what? That's about it. I actually need to go back and name it. Cert Hotjar. I just put a dash there so it shows up right at the top when we go to grab this, and I show you what's going on here. But after you have this, that's it. That's all you need to do. Okay. One thing I need to make notes here, if you're not doing all pages and you only want to add a tag to some, as you add more things, so let's actually kind of go back. I'll get rid of all pages for a second. Let's pick some pages, and I'll pick this one and this one. What this says is any of these conditions will fire your tag. So if you start at this level adding different trigger mechanisms, it could be any one of those would fire the tag. So you could have multiple instances. If you want to have, a specific tag that fires based off of, it needs 3 criteria for it to do it, you need to build that at the trigger level. And then you go into more and pick that trigger, okay? So that's just something that was just a bit of an aside, something to make a point. If you're kind of using this only on specific pages, you'll have to set that up at the trigger level, okay? All right, so let's go back to clicking all pages now. Let's create this tag. All right, so the tag is created, and you can see it here right at the top. And so right now we have a new version. We're editing version 62. We have one unpublished change, but I don't want to publish just yet. I want to be able to test this thing out, as anybody should. So one of the things you can do here is go into preview and debug mode. All right, and so preview and debug mode is pretty cool. Go into here. You'll get a nice little orange banner saying you're now previewing version 62. And let's go to Digital Marketer. Okay, here we are. And then we're going to see at the bottom, there will be a tag manager piece here. And see what it says here? Tags fired on this page. So I already had Hotjar on this page, which is the one I'm currently using. But this is from just the tag we just created. Since we had Tag Manager already set up on our site, I threw in the code I needed and created that tag, and it is now firing on this page. And we have some other things in here as well, but that's what I wanted to show you, is that was that simple to do, okay? And if you really want to dig into it, as you're working on a page, you can say, if I click, see here, this is a new action that occurred on the page, and it'll tell me if a tag fired there. We had no tag set up to fire there, so nothing fired, which is good. Okay, and then if we go to the page view, which is what this is based off of, this tag is supposed to trigger on all page views, we see that Cert Hotjar shows up at the page view level. All right, so we were able to get Hotjar on this site super easily without having to bother our IT or developer people, which they are probably happy about because they are always swamped. All right, so let me go back into Tag Manager. If I were to publish this, I'd just click this whole publish button right here, and version 62 would be now live, and any new edits would be on version 63. But I'm not going to publish this because I don't want 2 instances of Hotjar on the site. One other thing I wanted to show you very, very quickly, so let me leave preview mode, okay, is inversions. So say you publish that and you didn't realize that you had that it was causing a problem on your site, you can go back to any one of your versions, okay? So say I make 62 live, I say 61 I made live and something was broken. All I have to do is go to actions, and then you can publish this one. So you don't even have to try to remember what worked. You could just need to remember that that was the version that previously worked before then, and then you can kind of try to troubleshoot from there. So, put out the fire, then troubleshoot it. So that's Google Tag Manager in a nutshell, used for a very, very, very specific purpose, that is getting qualitative text on your site. And this is just one of the ways I am able to sidestep my IT group and actually, be more productive while not waiting in the queue. So I think all of you have felt that pain before, and this is one way to get around it. All right, so enjoy.